Hello, buenos dias. 105th day, first video. Some things to clear up from the last one. One thing is zooming. This is a primitive studio here, very primitive. And I'm sorry, sometimes when I set the camera, I hit the zoom. I'm awfully close to you when I do that. Maybe I should always zoom. I don't know. Maybe it would be better. Anyway, that's what happens there, and it happened in the last video. Under pronunciation for Spanish, the letter G, I don't want to say it's always silent, and I want to say it's sort of or not silent like the letter H, but in the word inteligente, it's like an H there. A Gila monster is a creature that can bite you and is poisonous in the south. Starts with a G, but it should be pronounced Gila monster. All right, that was one thing. Now, in the conversation that we've had so far, and I guess I'll review that conversation in a moment, but let me talk about this first. It's time to point out that the word the, I don't think I did this yet. I consider it an adjective, and there's argument about this. I don't think I showed you this. El, la, los, and las. There's 4 ways to say the. This one is singular and masculine. Let's use the friend, el amigo. The friend. There's one friend, he's a guy. El amigo. If that friend were a girl, she would be amiga, and it would end with an A. That would be la amiga. Because of something called agreement, which I've mentioned before. It's written down in the linguistics section of your notes, but since I started to teach Spanish, I'm not sure if I wrote anything about it. If I had 2 or more friends, they would be amigos with an S on the end, an O-S, amigos. And if I said the friends, they would have to be los amigos, the friends. You see, the word the stays the same in English, but in Spanish it has to agree. If I had more than one friend and they were girls or women, they would be amigas, and I would have to say las amigas, the friends. Well, we've run into the word un as well. She said that tú eres un perro, a dog, un perro. Well, we haven't seen this yet, but if it had been a feminine thing, if I were talking about a friend, it would be una amiga, a friend, and it would have to agree. Perro is masculine, it ends with an O. Unos, now see, this can be plural. In English, we can't do that. We can't say a friends. You have to change to another word in English. You have to say some friends. Well, if you had some friends, more than one, and they were guys, they would be unos amigos. It would have to agree. If they were girls or women, you would say, I have some friends that are women. Unas amigas. So there's 4 ways to say a, an, or some. In English, the difference between a and an is due to something called elision, which I'll explain to you when we get to French. All right, turn to verbs. And you should have entered that in your notes. I had a thought about your notes, actually, which I'll pass on to you eventually, but not now. You should be taking notes if you're taking this course. On to the verbs. We have a new verb. I think the last verb you had was querer. And I think you're only going to have one form of that, quiero. So I don't think you have to skip a line. It would be good to skip one line anyway. But now add the verb ser, S-E-R, ser. It means to be. Now some of you might think, wait, you taught that estar means to be. Yes, it does. So does ser. The difference is this is permanent. There are 2 kinds of to be, 2 kinds of being in Spanish, and this is it really is a problem, I think, for say an English speaker. How can there be two? In English, if I say I am teaching, that's fine. If I say I am a man, am, it's the same verb. It's a form of to be. I will be teaching. I will be an American. Not so in Spanish. They make a difference. If it's something that is not going to change, I am a man, that's probably not going to change. But if I say I am teaching, well, in 10 minutes, I won't be. That can change. They use a different verb. Sorry. They do it in Portuguese too, and you have to get used to that. This is probably hard for Germans too, because Germans don't make that distinction. It's a problem. Sorry about that. Anyway, it's a different verb and it has different forms. You haven't seen this one yet, and underneath it you should tab in a little bit. This is the first person singular. If you say I am, you say soy. Soy americano. I am American. So that's probably not going to change. Soy. If I say you are, eres brasileiros, you're Brazilians. Or no, eres, you, singular, are. Well, that was in the conversation because she said, what's her name, Maria, said to Jose, eres un perro. You're a dog. You are a dog. Not right now, at the moment, but you are. She was harsh. Eres. And you don't need the word you. She said tu eres, but she didn't have to. She could have just said eres un burro. You are a donkey. We're going to see this form of that verb. Oh, and notice the R gives us the word to. Ser means to be. Somos means we are. If I said we are friends, I could say somos amigos. Somos amigos. And that's permanent. We are friends. Somos amigos. If I said estamos amigos, that's that other form of the verb. That would suggest that, well, at the moment we're friends. Estamos amigos. But it might change. Okay, and still one other thing now, diminutives. It's time for me to tell you about diminutives. And this would be in a different section. This would be in the 8th section of your notes, the linguistics. Page 8 point something, I don't know what. And here's what they are. Diminutives, and they should be boxed. This is a linguistic term. Well, I didn't say what they are, what they do. They make things smaller and cuter. And where you saw it first was in Spanish. And I'm going to break this down. I'll say e.g., which means, for example. In Spanish, you could have a friend, amigo. There would be one friend and a guy. Well, if he's a little friend, my nephew was out here yesterday, and I could say he's my amiguito. If I change that to amiguito, now I've got my little friend. And you can do that in Spanish and Portuguese to just about, well, it would be different, but I mean, it would be written differently, but you just do it to words all the time. The difference between a house, casa, there's the word for a house. If you talk about a casita, now you've got a cottage, a little house, a cute little cottage. Well, in English, it doesn't really work like that. That's why I said a señora becomes a señorita. She's like a little lady. In English, horse becomes horsey. But the thing about it is, we add that to the end in English. But in English, it becomes baby talk. A name like John becomes Johnny. Johnny. Now, that's like saying Little John. It also makes it, if you really love somebody, sometimes people have called me Frankie, which is strange in a way because usually that hasn't happened very much. But sometimes they do, and they haven't meant it unkindly. They meant it affectionately. A lot of people don't like that. They don't want that because they want to outgrow it. Tom becomes Tommy, Sam becomes Sammy. But if you put a lot of these together, if you said in English, look at the doggy and the horsey by the housey, that sounds like baby talk, worse, stupid. Well, in French, a cigare, same word as English, becomes a cigarette. There's a diminutive. And in German, there are several. If you talk about your true love, your Liebe, but you want to make it more affectionate, it's your Liebling. What you do is you add L-I-N-G or C-H-E-N. The difference between Greta in German, there's a woman's name, Greta, and Gretchen, and I use that because Gretchen is an English name. It's like saying little Greta, and you like them. You can also say line in German. Well, anyway, I'm not teaching German now, but that's these are diminutives, right? A linguistic thought. All right, in the next conversation, we're going to go on with this stupid conversation.